G'day guys, welcome back. So we've got the VL out of the shed today, so she's all running and driving, about ready to take for a bit of a test drive. So anyway, we'll have a bit of a look at it before we do. So we've had it wired up. It's got a Haltech Rebel LS ECU in it and IC7 dash. So it's all turned out really neat. We didn't want gauges hanging off it everywhere because this is going to be a true driver. So everything works. One of those sort of cars. Have a look at the boot area. So just need to finish the overflow line that connects to that one there. Everything in here is all done. Completed engine bay. Check out our catch can setup. Yes, it's obviously temporary for the test drive, but we've got a catch can on its way. It just hasn't turned up yet, so we'll get one of them fitted. We'll get a catch can on it before we head to the dyno. Anyway, so we've had a look at it. Let's take it for a test drive now. That dash is so cool. Drives good. I'm really impressed with it. Really happy with it.
I don't think the clutch needs to be all the way in. Like, I just move my seat back there. Like, I'm not putting it up all the way to the floor.
Yeah.
It'll still work.
Brakes feel good.
Yep.
Everything seems to work.
I like how the steering's heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, that manual steering's definitely a win. I think the front runners are good too. It's a good combination. Watching that. You like it?
I like it.
That's good. Alright guys, so this one's back on the hoist. Next stage of the build for this one is going to be to throw a cam in it. We were led to believe the motor was cam, but unfortunately it wasn't. So everything else about the car is pretty much done. Like, the car drives great. It does everything it should. It's smooth. It's got plenty of power, honestly. How it is, I think a cammed LS1, I think a non-cammed LS1, just with a tune, good exhaust, is probably good for around 300 horsepower tyres with a manual transmission. So the car's quite quick as it is. It just doesn't have that sound. I mean, it's got twin threes dumped at the diff, and it just doesn't have that nice note that the cammed LS has. So, yep, anyway, well, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to slam a cam in it. So I popped the radiator and the OTR off it just because I normally do that outside so we don't end up with water everywhere all over the floor. And being painted, it's quite slippery. So, anyway, I haven't done one of these in the car before, but I've done plenty of YouTube videos, so I'm not going to go too in-depth in it because there's that many YouTube videos, and I literally learned how to do this off a YouTube video. So anyway, so what we do have is a VCM 11 camshaft for it. From what I've read, it's about where you want to be with a manual. It's probably of the more aggressive cam. So this is my missus car. So, and being a 6-speed, I don't want the thing to pig hunt on the cam. So you know, being mindful, it is my missus car. So making maximum power is not the ultimate goal. It just has to sound nice and go well. But ultimately, it would be nice to be able to stick shift it into the 11s. So we've got a VCM 11 cam. We'll put up the specs here, but I think it's like a 225, 232, something around that area. I've got a set of pack 1219 springs, a Mellings oil pump, and a Crow single row timing chain. So we'll figure this out. I'm not going to pull the cylinder heads off. The motor runs incredibly great. Like, there's no lifter tick or anything stupid on this motor. It runs really, really good. So anyway, well, let's get this happening and get this cam swapped in. Okay, so I got the motor all tore down. So we've got timing cover off, timing set, rocker gear, coils, balancer and everything else. So we've gone with the 2-dowel trick with this one to keep the lifters up. So I spun the cam a couple of times to keep the lifters up. And next up, we're going to pull the camshaft out and swap the other one in. So I've got the other one over here. So they don't actually require any lube, but I have given it a good clean with brake clean and put engine oil on it. So we'll go and get that slapped in and we'll move on. Okay, so cam's all in, moved on to valve springs. So this is the tool I bought. It was literally a cheap ass. I think I paid 25 bucks for it off eBay. Basically you get the cylinder up to top dead center. So to check this, you wind the engine over, use a bit of wire in the cylinder, and you can feel where the piston is at the top dead center. And then use the valve spring compressors, and it winds down till the valve touches the piston. So there's not a great deal of clearance in these, so it doesn't push down too far. Just touches the top of the piston and then takes the pressure off the valve spring, and then you can remove the retainers and swap them all over. So these are our new spring kit that we're putting in. So I've done all this side, so as you can see, these are a bit cleaner, a bit nicer. I've just started doing this driver's side, so see the front springs and the rear spring there is where I've started. So having a look at the height difference between the two springs, you can definitely see why they're an upgrade. So here's your two springs, so you can see the heights. Anyway, so we'll keep going. I'll get all these valve springs swapped in. Only a couple of hours into the job so far, so there's really not too much involved. Anyway, we'll just keep going. Okay, so I finished up the valve springs. All on there, all looking good. I've just put one of the rockers on. So these are the Trunnion upgraded rockers. So gone and set the pushrod length, and it works out these will be like the 7.400 length, which is pretty factory. Guessing because the engine, the block face, the cylinder head face, and the cam's not overly wild. So relatively standard length pushrod. So we'll get a set of them ordered, and yeah, we'll get the rest of this done. So almost there. Okay, so I got it all installed, got the new Mellings oil pump and the timing set all installed. So we're just going to go ahead and put the rest of it back together. The oil pump was the oil pump pickup tube was a bit of a pain in the butt. I end up jacking the motor up, undoing the mounts and lifting the motor up with the crane. But and just dropping the sump down low enough to get to that. But managed to get it done, so that's all good. Anyway, so we'll keep going, and I'll get this finished up. Alright guys, there she is. So 360 horsepower odd it made. That's all it made. We're out of fuel injector, so couldn't rev it over 5,000 revs. It's just out of fuel, it just went lean. So we're going to chuck some injectors in it and we'll go back. But yeah, a little disappointing, but it is what it is. So we'll just put some 42 pound injectors in it and then give it a retune. But judging by the way the power was going, I'd say it's probably 380, 385 sort of at the wheels. So anyway, so what we'll do is we'll get some new injectors in it and we'll get it back to dyno and just see what it makes. So otherwise the car runs flawless, drives really nice. So yeah, anyway, and of course the bit we all want to hear, so I'll kick it in the guts and we'll listen to it chop.